Continuing from the previous episode 1090. Damn guy, such a crazy move will only make me cheap in the end. Seeing Xiao Yan's crazy approach, King Xuanling's palm was dragging high. No matter what, he had to wipe out these people with one blow. Otherwise, the black energy that was fighting against Zhang Kang would be quite mysterious, making King Xuanling faintly uneasy. King Xuanling, where are you running? Looking at several other battles, King Xuanling's subordinates were all pinned down by the opponent, and King Xuanling couldn't call up other powerhouses. He could only contain destruction attacks while escape from Yuru's attack range. This guy still likes to show his strength so much. Seeing Xiao Yan's desperate appearance, Kai Lin couldn't help shaking her head slightly. Holy Flame Crystal, drop it off for me. The source of Holy Flame. After a short while, Xiao Yan's voice burst out. Crash! As Xiao Yan roared like this, the khaki yellow Holy Flame Crystal and the cyan Holy Flame Crystal disappeared immediately, leaving two pools of crystal clear liquid on Xiao Yan's hands. The two pools of liquid instantly turned into two groups of flames. The cyan flame and the khaki flame just emerged, which immediately vented a rather eerie feeling to the sky and even the air here. Whether it's successful or not, it's up to this time. Xiao Yan held the two flames tightly with both hands, and then said with a little trembling. As soon as the voice fell, the flame seeds from the source of the two groups of holy flames began to fuse. Boom! The cyan flame and the khaki flame just came into contact, and a muffled groan sounded directly from the center of the two. At this time, with the muffled groan produced by such flames, Xiao Yan's hands were also ripped apart. Even if there was some protection from Xiao Yan's body burning duels and fighting qi, a trace of scarlet blood was still flowing slowly, quite a bit. For bloody, Xiao Yan's expression was still extremely calm, because he knew that the fusion of holy flames was not as simple as fusion of different fires. He forcibly endured the severe pain from the palm of his hand. There was actually a trace that was directly strung into Xiao Yan's pupils. Between the cyan pupils and the khaki pupils, an extremely terrifying wave slowly radiated out, and the two colors alternated constantly, which seemed quite strange. Crash! The two flames in the palm of the hand are still difficult to ride a tiger, but Xiao Yan is also gritted his teeth and stubborn, regardless of how the two flames are repelled, how to generate a huge force to resist himself. His hands are stubbornly facing each other. Gather in the middle. At this time, the cyan flame and the khaki flame above Xiao Yan's palm were only 5 centimeters apart, so they could be completely merged. However, the distance of 5 centimeters made it difficult for Xiao Yan to move forward. Only by mobilizing every cell in his body, without a trace of soul power or even fighting spirit, could he be able to advance a little bit slowly. King Xuanling was dealing with Yueru, and his eyes were fixed on Xiao Yan, who was like a madman. He was also a little curious. If Xiao Yan's attack was really successful, then I am afraid that there will be no one in the past and no one in the future. Moreover, King Xuanling also has the confidence to win the battle today. Not only did Mu Yingying and Yan Kai want to swallow the two holy flames, but they even coveted the two holy flames on Xiao Yan's body. Now that Xiao Yan has made such a crazy scene again, Xuanling King is naturally curious, so he is ready to watch. Let's see what's going on first. Hurry up, there's not enough time. Seeing that Yuru's breath in the sky was getting weaker and weaker, Xiao Yan couldn't help but shout. Peefed! Finally, under Xiao Yan's hard support, the cyan flame and the khaki flame suddenly collided without any obstacle. CC. With the complete elimination of the obstacle, traces of blood continued to overflow from Xiao Yan's palm. Obviously, Xiao Yan wasted a lot of energy in order to make the two flames touch without gaps. The second group of flames had just touched, and they were ready to fight back, but Xiao Yan's body was burning with a trace of vindictiveness directly on it. At that time, the backlash was temporarily suppressed, and then it began to slowly compress. Bang bang bang! A muffled groan came directly from Xiao Yan's chest. Obviously, even now that the holy flame has begun to merge, even if it is a bit burning, Xiao Yan wants to completely integrate the power of the two holy flames. Difficulty is not small. When the cyan flame and the khaki flame were compressed, every time the power of the two reached the 0 point, a backlash would be sent out, and Xiao Yan's blood was directly gushed out, but the two merged out. The evil power has become more violent. And even if this is the case, Xiao Yan still ignores it and continues to compress the power of the two holy flames. Xiao Yan, dissipate quickly, go on like this. You will die. As a holy flame, Mu Yingying naturally felt the rebelliousness of the two holy flames in Xiao Yan's fusion. If it goes on like this, I am afraid that Xiao Yan will really explode and die. Trust him. Seeing Mu Yingying in such a hurry, Kai Lin said a little. Bang bang bang. Several muffled hums sounded again. Xiao Yan's aura in the body was weakening, and even his face became pale. It should be enough. Although Xiao Yan had been enduring the backlash from his body, at this moment, in the palm of his hand, the two flames slowly merged into one exuding a blue-yellow color. Delicate lotus seeds slowly appeared in front of everyone. Come out, the lotus of life and death. Without listening to anyone's words, the high concentration of soul power almost roared at the thing above his palm. Following Xiao Yan's heart-wrenching roar, at this moment the entire altar above the sky and the earth were darkened, and the breeze seemed to be shocked by Xiao Yan's terrifying blow and temporarily forgot to flow. Looking at the beautiful blue-yellow lotus seeds on his palm, Xiao Yan didn't stop. There was a trace of fire in his pupils, and then the fingertips, with a touch of fighting qi, suddenly moved, and immediately poured all the green-yellow lotus seeds into it. And that grudge was born from Fen Zhu. With the injection of Fen Du's fighting spirit, the originally quiet green and yellow lotus seeds suddenly rioted. The two colors cyan and khaki flames slowly appeared, and then slowly danced beside the cyan lotus seeds. Ha ha ha, King Xuanling, let you have a taste of this great gift. And Xiao Yan looked at the green and yellow lotus seed, which was catalyzed by his own burning duel, and was extremely violent, directly facing the position of King Xuanling, and threw it viciously. Outside the lotus of life and death, cyan and khaki two-color flames slowly surrounded it, and shot towards the Xuanling king at a rapid speed, and there were no spatial ripples or even fluctuations anywhere along the way. But it was this understatement that made the Xuanling king, who was still invincible, go crazy, and even the cold hairs in his body instantly stood up. The lotus of life and death, with the source power of two holy flames, shrank violently when it was 50 meters away from King Xuanling, and then suddenly expanded. At that time, a sound of explosion that moved the heavens and the earth, from the altar sky, resounded through the sky. Boom! Destructive energy, like a tide, spread out from the sky where the Xuanling king was. Even some huge peaks around the altar were directly destroyed by this destructive force and became nothingness. And the mysterious enchantment of the evil queen and the ghostly energy that wrapped the altar was completely turned into powder by Xiao Yan's blow. Without the enchantment package, everything that happened on the altar was also brought into the sight of countless humans in Xuanxin. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1091, the gorgeous green and yellow lotus seeds exploded completely in the sky of the altar, like a fire *** descending, venting his anger here, and the anger swept the whole world. Such a terrifying explosion made the entire Zon 3 days become a stove, and the temperature suddenly rose. What is this? Could it be that we did something wrong that caused Lord Vulcan to punish us? There is the orientation of the altar of Xuanling Mountain. Such strong energy fluctuations, I am afraid that our Xuanxin powerhouses cannot exert them. Isn't the demon extermination ceremony being held there? How could it be? Countless people in Zon Santian looked up stupidly, looking at the terrifying wave of fire emanating thousands of meters away, and said dumbly. Boom! At this time, on the altar at the top of Xuanling Mountain, in the blue sky, the terrifying lotus of life and death Yu Bo still hasn't completely dissipated, and there are traces of flame ripples with a blue-yellow color, which exploded point as the center, spread in degrees. And with Xiao Yan's terrifying blow, all the creatures on this altar suffered a devastating blow, and even the altar was beyond recognition. After about a few minutes of touching, as the blue and yellow flames slowly disappeared, this world slowly returned to normal, but that normality made some places in this sky visible everywhere. A distorted space scorched by the power of holy flame. In the sky, two people appeared, and both of them fell directly to the ground at the same time, and their speed was astonishing. Susu, little bastard, you really surprised me, but the person who fell down said grimly, and his voice was full of anger. Peefed. After a while, the two of them both fell directly onto the land. Cough cough cough. Xiao Yan took the lead in getting up with great difficulty, and then coughed violently. At the same time, he coughed out blood. King Xuanling, I didn't expect your life to be so hard. After Xiao Yan stood up hard, looking at the King Xuanling, who was already in a state of embarrassment, he made a slight voice. His voice was extremely weak, and his face was even slightly pale. It was pale. It was obvious that the blow just now consumed almost all of Xiao Yan's strength, and still did not completely obliterate the Xuanling king, only severely injured him. At this time, King Xuanling was extremely embarrassed. No part of his body was intact. Even the muscles full of evil energy became twisted under Xiao Yan's lotus of life and death. Lian survived the attack, but also paid a very heavy price. The most important thing is that drops of black and red blood dripped from King Xuanling. King Xuanling's left arm actually disappeared in the shocking explosion just now. Ha ha ha. Okay, you Xiao Yan, it really opened my eyes. It turns out that the fusion of the power of Holy Flame can produce such a powerful power. I think it has something to do with the thing in your body. Hand over the exercises in your body to me. The next moment, King Xuanling's figure exploded, and the only remaining hand, with a vicious attack, attacked Xiao Yan directly. Based on King Xuanling's estimation just now, the power generated by the fusion of Xiao Yan's two holy flames, if Xiao Yan's strength is a little bit tyrannical, I'm afraid he can really kill himself. You must know that Xiao Yan's strength is only in the middle stage of the 7-star Do Emperor, and even after detonating the strange fire, his strength has dropped to the 5-star Do Emperor. The lotus of life and death condensed in this way almost caused the Xuanling king to be seriously injured and died. At this time, Xiao Yan could also be said to have fallen into a situation where the lamp was running out of oil, and he couldn't help shaking his body. Whoosh whoosh. King Xuanling dragged his tired body to Xiao Yan and slapped him. Crash! When King Xuanling's attack suddenly came, Yu Weiru, who was on the side, rushed over just in time, and a short blade appeared directly, blocking King Xuanling's attack. Bastard! King Xuanling couldn't help cursing when he saw Yu Weiru appear. At this time of the battle, almost all other places are evenly matched, and only here is a variable. I really didn't expect that the easiest guy turned out to be the toughest. I am afraid that Yuru's current strength is stronger than mine. It seems that now I can only devour Schengen first and kill them, otherwise the variables will be too big. King Xuanling didn't dare to see that his attack was blocked. Hesitating here, I have other thoughts in my mind. However, this was also the time when there was no other way. King Xuanling was extremely proud. Dealing with Xiao Yan would definitely be like killing an ant, but how could he have thought that when he underestimated Xiao Yan, the strength of a dignified fighting immortal was actually in the hands of such a guy? Being seriously injured, King Xuanling had to be a little angry. King Xuanling stepped aside and temporarily recovered the injury in his body, and then his eyes kept looking at the 3 pillars. Are you all right? Yu Weiru asked Xiao Yan directly after defeating King Xuanling with a single blow, with a hint of heartache flashing in her beautiful eyes. It's fine. King Xuanling has already controlled the entire Xuansantian powerhouse through the soul-controlling lead of the poison sect. Let's go and deal with King Xuanling first. Xiao Yan said intermittently. Okay. Yu Ru hesitated for a while, and then saw the firm look in Xiao Yan's pupils. She didn't dare to refuse. She went directly to the position where King Xuanling was, and showed her aura to the extreme. King Xuanling, it's time for this to end. Yu Weiru spoke slightly, her voice full of chills. Obviously, even if 10 Do Xian were trapped in the Blood River Bell, Yu Weiru knew through perception that her master was also there, so she was naturally extremely angry. Ha ha ha! I never thought that my dignified King Xuanling would be forced to this step. It's really a miscalculation. But, do you dare to kill me? Facing Yu Weiru, who walked towards him step by step, King Xuanling was like a madman, and laughed wickedly. This guy? Crazy? And Xiao Yi and Long Yi also looked over in confusion. Die. After a few breaths, Yu Weiru came to King Xuanling, raised the short blade with mysterious patterns, and stabbed at King Xuanling's tinling guy. Look, what is this? When Yu Weiru just started, the Xuanling king took out a silver crystal directly from his arms. Despicable. As soon as the silver crystal appeared, Yu Ru's attack suddenly stopped, and a heavy feeling emerged in her heart. This is a soul ball, and the soul power of countless strong people under my control has been injected into it. As long as my mind moves, the strong people here will fall completely. You can start. Let's see if it's your short blade that's quick, or my mind is quick. King Xuanling said to Yueru confidently. Damn. When Xiaoyan saw this scene, he couldn't help frowning. Obviously, even Xiaoyan didn't think of this. Moreover, Xiaoyan knew that what King Xuanling said was true. If he insisted on taking action, I am afraid that all the powerhouses here would fall completely. Xiaoyan, haven't you always claimed to be righteous? Go ahead, kill me, the big devil. That price is nothing but the power of Xuanxin Santian. But Xuanling King stared at Xiaoyan with a slight smile. And, end of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1092. What do you want? Xiaoyan forcibly endured the severe pain from his body, and asked Xuanling King. Ha ha ha. Take the 2 holy flames out of your body. King Xuanling watched Xiaoyan's momentum weaken, and said directly with a big mouth. You are dreaming, Xiaoyan said coldly after hearing this. Saint Yan is extremely important to him, and King Xuanling's move is extremely unwise, but with the power of Xiaoyan at this time, there is no way to steal the soul ball from King Xuanling, otherwise things would not be so troublesome. What is this King Xuanling doing? There seems to be something on those 3 pillars? The Soul Eater Lord on the side was constantly dealing with Zan Kang and constantly controlling Shui He Ling, but he suddenly discovered something. He only saw a slightly very weak aura slowly emerging above the 3 pillars. He just wanted to tell Xiaoyan, but was stopped by Zan Kang. Then I'll let them fall here completely. The change on the 3 pillars was naturally the backhand prepared by the Xuanling King, but that thing was still a while away, so it could only be delayed temporarily. The obscure aura above the 3 stone pillars is astonishingly absorbing the power of the 3. It can be said without hesitation that if you want to obtain the power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python to suppress the holy flame, you can only use this method, and even Kaelin and the others don't know that since they were bound on the stone pillar, they were secretly hidden. The ghost chi continued to absorb the power of Kaelin, thereby suppressing the power of the holy flames on the other 2 holy flames. Xiaoyan was extremely weak, and Yuru's breath was sluggish, so no one noticed any changes on the 3 pillars. Strange, why is it a little cold? And when Xiaoyan and the others were confronting each other, Mu Yingying suddenly said. Mu Yingying is Sheng Yan, and she has a hot physique. If Sheng Yan felt cold, it would be unusual. Cold? And the power in my body seems to flow out a lot. Hearing Mu Yingying say this, Kai Lin couldn't help but whisper. You can try. In the face of the threat of King Xuanling, Xiaoyan said with a strong momentum. Are you just watching the entire Zan Santian powerhouse go to destruction? You must know that the number of people I control at this time, I am afraid that I am the strongest force in the entire Zan Santian. If these forces are lost, I am afraid that the Xuanling continent will turn into a bubble in an instant. Xuanling King said, Don't worry, I want to save people. It's impossible for holy flame to fall into your hands. Xiaoyan said coldly. The reason why Xiaoyan delays time so much is that he is also devouring the medicinal pills to restore his power. Xiaoyan believed that if there was a lotus of life and death, this King Xuanling would definitely be able to completely obliterate it. Don't be ashamed. Xiaoyan, the final winner is still me. Ha ha ha. The next moment, the King Xuanling suddenly moved, turned into a black chain, and flew away directly at the stone pillar where Mu Yingying was. Not good. It's actually the hunting flame lock. Seeing this, the Soul Eater, who was not far away, couldn't help roaring. The power of the flame hunting chain is obvious to the Lord of Soul Eater. He has seen this thing before. This thing can ignore all the defenses of the holy flame and directly collect the divine weapon of the source of the holy flame. If ordinary people are hit by this chain, I am afraid that they will be seriously injured in an instant, or even lose their vitality. No, the situation has changed. And when King Xuanling's expression just fluctuated, Xiaoyan realized that something was wrong and hurriedly shouted. Ha ha ha! The power of holy flame! The King Xuanling turned into a jet black chain, and shot directly at Mu Yingying. The speed was so fast that it was suffocating. The change just now, it was actually absorbing my power. I was careless. Looking at this sudden scene, Kai Lin also knew that the power of cold that Mu Yingying had just mentioned was her own power. Yingying, just when he saw King Xuanling's actions like this, Yan Kai let out a loud shout, and then his pupils turned red, and his body kept struggling to break free from the stone pillar. Whoosh whoosh. No matter how Yan Kai struggled, an invisible chain on the stone pillar bound him all the time, preventing him from leaving the stone pillar at all. No! The next moment, the chain transformed by King Xuanling came 5 meters in front of Mu Yingying, and the next moment, it would completely penetrate Mu Yingying's delicate body. Brother! Xiao Yan! Mu Yingying's face changed greatly when faced with such a situation, and she couldn't help but murmured in a low voice. My holy flame, come back! King Xuanling's gloomy voice came out, and he suddenly pierced into Mu Yingying's stone pillar. Peefed! There was a sound of blood dripping, as if something was broken. Am I dead? The entire space was deadly silent, and then Mu Yingying opened her eyes slightly, but a shocking scene emerged in her heart. Xiao Yan! Second brother! Second brother! No! Heart-piercing roars gathered from all directions. And just as Mu Yingying opened her beautiful eyes, she was attracted by these roars. What was reflected in Mu Yingying's pupils was a rather familiar face. There was no pain on that face, but a very pale aura. Xiao Yan, don't! You can't die! But when Mu Yingying saw Xiao Yan's figure, she shook her head frantically, her eyes fixed on Xiao Yan. Because at this moment, at Xiao Yan's heart, a huge skeleton about the size of a fist emerged, and at the center of the skeleton, a bright red heart was inserted into an incomparably dark chain. The power that corrodes everything, constantly devours Xiao Yan's vitality. Whoosh whoosh! The black chain was pulled out, and then Yuru's figure followed, directly attacking her in a deadlock. And as the black chains were pulled away, Xiao Yan's heart also seemed to be seriously injured, and the beating frequency was slowly weakening, but the heart that was still intact just now became fragmented after the black chains left. I finally didn't break my promise. Xiao Yan looked at Mu Yingying, who was close at hand, and said softly, his voice was quite soft. Say no more. Say no more. You're going to die? But Mu Yingying's beautiful eyes turned red, and the tip of her nose felt sour. Kai Lin, I'm sorry. Yingying, I'm sorry. Long Yi, Xiao Yi, Senior Soul Eater, I'm sorry. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and then his breath suddenly plummeted, his eyes became dull, and even his demeanor died. As if on the verge of death. Shabu shabu. At this time, on Xiao Yan's forehead, the Xiao clan line slowly appeared, and they continued to release traces of mysterious power, trying to repair Xiao Yan's broken heart, but to no avail. No, Xiao Yan, you can't throw us away like this. When Kaylin saw this scene, her whole body collapsed instantly. There is no place for Queen Medusa's heir, and she looked like she wanted to die. Xiao Yan, you can't die. But Mu Yingying and Kaylin were caught by this sudden scene and tried their best to break free from the restraint of the stone pillar. No matter how powerful the restraint was on the stone pillar, the two women ignored it. Finally, at the next moment, the two women broke free from the shackles of the stone pillar, and then came to Xiao Yan, hugged Xiao Yan gently. The power of 10 colors and the power of azure holy flame kept going towards Xiao Yan. He tried to repair Xiao Yan's broken heart, but Xiao Yan's aura was still rapidly weakening, and was even about to disappear. Xiao Yan's body's life force has almost drained away, and he has begun to dissipate his soul power. Once Xiao Yan's body's soul power is completely dissipated, I am afraid that the strong fighting gods will not be able to return to the sky. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1093. Asshole! Get away from me! At this moment, the Master of Soul Eater was also furious, and the aura outside his body suddenly shook, instantly knocking Zhang Kang back, and then he swiftly left towards Xiao Yan. Senior, I beg you to save him. The air mass of the Soul Eater had just arrived at Xiao Yan's side, and Kai Lin immediately grabbed the air mass and said in tears, I'll take a look. The Soul Eater also knew the importance of the matter, and immediately bypassed the second daughter, squatted down and wrapped Xiao Yan with his own strength. Senior, how is it? After a few breaths, the power of the Soul Eater Lord's wrapping Xiao Yan slowly disappeared, and the two girls couldn't help asking. Ah, difficult. Just now, King Xuanling's attack was called the Chain of Hunting Flames, and it was specifically aimed at Saint Yan, but Xiao Yan blocked a blow for you, and his heart was completely smashed by the Chain of Hunting Flames. And the vitality in the body has now been exhausted, and the power of the soul has begun to flow away. The Lord of Soul Eater said sadly, if Zhang Kang hadn't stopped him carelessly just now, Xiao Yan would never have let this happen. Senior, isn't there anything I can do? Mu Yingying asked unrelentingly. There is only one way now. You use the power of holy flame to burn Xiao Yan's body to retain his soul power. I will take his soul power to the ghost world. In this case, there is still a chance of life. Soul Eater's eyes flashed a hint of helplessness, and then said, burning the body. The power of the soul. Kai Lin also seemed to have sensed something. She desperately hugged Xiao Yan's body and couldn't help muttering, Xiao Yan, I won't let you die. Even if it is exchanged for my death, I will not let you die. They said that my blood is the blood of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, which possesses supreme power. Drink it. I beg you, drink. Kai Lin also growled even more, tearing his wrists to pieces, and a trace of brilliant blood dripped directly on the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth, but Xiao Yan still didn't help. Do not do that. Recklessly using the blood power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python will cause immeasurable damage to yourself. The Soul Eater shed a trace of strength and directly stopped Kai Lin's excessive behavior. Asshole! You let me go. He's going to die, so what about the powerful force? Kai Lin couldn't help roaring when he saw that his wrist was stopped by Soul Eater. I use the power of holy flame to burn his body. Can I really leave his soul power behind? And Mu Yingying on the side also asked slightly. Okay, fine. Hurry up, otherwise, after a while, there will be no chance. And the Lord of Soul Eater also said, Mu Yingying, you dare. But when Mu Yingying was just about to start, Kai Lin roared. Sister Kai Lin, Mu Yingying was called by Kai Lin, and then she stopped. Senior, at this time, are you still hiding something from us? Kai Lin vaguely felt that the Lord of Soul Eater seemed to have something to hide from them, and said directly with a weeping voice. If you burn his body, of course you can retain his soul power and have a chance of life, but he will be resurrected in the future, and he will not have any memory about you. The Lord of Soul Eater was slightly surprised when he heard this. Then speak out. How could this be? When Mu Yingying heard the words, she fell into a sluggishness and directness. Yingying, I beg you to save him. When Kai Lin heard this, her heart suddenly trembled, and then she looked at Mu Yingying and said, hurry up and make a decision. My power won't last long. If he waits until his soul power completely disappears, I'm afraid he will be weak. The Soul Eater noticed Xiao Yan's rapid loss of soul power, and couldn't help but said, yes. Mu Yingying agreed softly, and then walked in front of Yan Kai. Brother, thank you for taking care of me since I was a child. You have always been the most powerful brother in Yingying's mind. But this time, Yingying may not be able to accompany you back. Anyway, you have tolerated my willfulness so many times, so let me be willful one last time. But Mu Yingying spoke slowly to Yan Kai. Could it be? Although Yanqi felt sympathy for Xiao Yan, in the final analysis, her resentment towards humans kept Yanqi sane. Seeing Mu Yingying speak like this, she couldn't help but have a crazy idea in her heart. Brother, thank you. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, an azure flame radiated from her whole body, and then she stepped back slightly and walked towards Xiao Yan. Mu Yingying, you dare! And Yan Kai noticed this scene and couldn't help roaring. His pupils were filled with a kind of madness. Brother, you always told me before that the human world is wonderful. Humans not only possess extremely high intelligence, but even have something that our holy flames have never had in their entire lives. Love. I used to often ask you what love is, but now, I may have found it. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, an azure blue holy flame crystal suddenly appeared on the palm of her hand, and then she attached to Xiao Yan slightly. Mu Yingying, you will die like this. Is it worth it for a human being? Yanqi didn't understand human emotions at all, but if Mu Yingying did that, she would disappear completely and die completely. Yanqi obviously didn't want to see that scene. But, I just want him to be alive. Mu Yingying finished softly, and then the azure blue holy flame crystal on the palm of her hand was gently squeezed and suddenly shattered. Sister Kai Lin, if possible, I hope you will never tell Xiao Yan about what to do next. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, her delicate body flashed. Sacred flame spirit, I have suffered you. And the holy flame crystal had just broken, and the holy flame spirit entrusted in Mu Yingying's body was also weak and was about to fall. Maybe this is life. Your choice is our common choice. This time, the holy flame spirit didn't refute Mu Yingying, and said something in her body. Thank you. Mu Yingying also smiled happily and said, Okay, gathering the strength of the two of us should allow him to be reborn. The spirit of holy flame opened his mouth. Let's start. Yeah. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, the spirit of the holy flame disappeared, instantly turning into a pool of azure blue liquid, slowly appearing in Mu Yingying's palm. Xiaoyan, I want you to live. And Mu Yingying scattered the just broken Saint Flame crystal directly to the big hole in Xiaoyan's chest. The blue liquid also paved the way, and the beautiful eyes smiled slightly. In the name of the 22nd place on my holy flame list, the ethereal ice flame. With my blood, with my soul, with my power, sacrifice. At this moment, Mu Yingying smiled brightly. As soon as she finished speaking, her entire body became illusory. At the last moment, her entire body actually burned, and it turned into a blue flame in a short while. Under his gaze, he crashed into the big hole in Xiaoyan's chest. Shabu! With Mu Yingying's actions like this, Xiaoyan's exhausted body suddenly took a slight breath, slowly flowed blood, and even had a faint heart-beating sound, and was strong and healthy. The force began to beat, and the power that was almost exhausted in the body, also at the same moment, began to show a geometric sprint, skyrocketing. Still coding. It will be late. The holy flame that has appeared now rank 35 Fire Heart Tianyan 24 Ghost Face and Soul Flame 22 Ethereal Ice Flame and the Guardian of the Shao Clan who appeared at the beginning 23 The Dark Blue and the Cold Yan Kai is ranked 21. If you have any good ideas you can come up with, I will take a good look at them, and I will release them all after some time on the Schengen ranking. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1094. Sigh. Looking at the sky, Xiaoyan gradually woke up. The eyes of Soul Eater, Kai Lin, Xiao Yi, and Long Yu all became strange. Mu Yingying's actions just now were undoubtedly seen by all of them, but because of Mu Yingying's request, it was quite difficult not to tell Xiaoyan. Where am I? Hell. Xiaoyan slowly opened his pupils and couldn't help but say something. Wake up, the Soul Eater on the side said something slightly when he heard the words. Master of Soul Eater? Color scales? I'm not dead? When Xiaoyan heard this, he couldn't help but be startled. According to Xiaoyan's memory, he had just blocked the blow for Mu Yingying, and he was seriously injured and was on the verge of death. How could he be here at this time? My body? The next moment, Xiaoyan seemed to notice that a warm flame was burning slowly in his heart, and even the power in his body was surging. This kind of appearance is obviously not comparable to the previous middle stage of the 7-star Do Emperor. What Xiaoyan didn't know was that after Mu Yingying sacrificed, not only did she use the Holy Flame Crystal and the power of Holy Flame to help Xiaoyan reshape her heart, she even changed a lot of things in Xiaoyan's body. Kai Lin, where's Yingying? Xiaoyan couldn't help asking, as if he noticed that only Yu Ru was at a stalemate with King Xuanling in the sky, while everyone else's eyes sank. She's not, she's here. Kai Lin hesitated for a while, then shook his head and pointed lightly at Xiaoyan's chest. As Xiaoyan's wife, Kai Lin naturally knew Xiaoyan's temper. This matter would not be hidden for long, so she simply told it directly. How could it be? Xiaoyan also felt that something was wrong and asked in doubt. Okay, Yingying, she has another wish. She hopes to help her brother get rid of the curse, and that King Xuanling is the culprit of all this. Kaylin said softly, Leave it to me. It didn't take long for Xiaoyan to understand something. He had just fallen. After all, at that time, the power in his body was already exhausted, and in order to resist the devastating blow of King Xuanling, Xiaoyan directly risked himself, and his chest and heart were directly broken, so he was still intact. No damage, even the power in the body has skyrocketed a lot, making Xiaoyan undoubtedly have some conjectures. Yueru, come down. Let me make Yingying's wish for this bastard. Xiaoyan called out softly to Yueru in the sky. Yeah. Yu Ru heard the words and also landed. Xiaoyan suffered a big change just now, but Yu Ru still couldn't take it out. After all, if no one could deal with King Xuanling, I'm afraid everyone here would die. Little bastard, I didn't expect you to get another holy flame. That's my thing. Death to this king. Although King Xuanling had spent a lot of fighting energy in his body after fighting for a long time, but after all, he was a genuine 1-star fighting immortal, and naturally it was not comparable to Xiaoyan. Boom! King Xuanling clenched his fist tightly, with a trace of black and red evil power, suddenly attacked Xiaoyan, Hoo hoo hoo. Old dog. How cool is the fight? The King Xuanling's seemingly tyrannical attack was easily taken by Xiaoyan with one hand, and then Xiaoyan asked the King Xuanling with a grim expression. How? How is it possible? Your power. Impossible. How can the power of holy flame increase the strength of a person? It's impossible. The Xuanling King couldn't help roaring as he watched Xiaoyan take his attack with one hand. Because at this time Xiaoyan and King Xuanling felt that they were not a terminally ill mouse, but a lion that had just woken up and was full of rage. Bang bang bang. Xiaoyan suddenly exerted force, and directly sent Xuanling King flying out a distance of dozens of meters. Let you, this fellow, have a good experience of the true power of Saint Flame. As the master of my holy flame, I will kill you, a narrow-minded person who is trying to collude with the evil race outside the territory. Yingying, this time, I will fight for you, gathering flames for you. And Xiaoyan's pupils were filled with a deep blue. Even as soon as he finished speaking, there was a burst of cheers from his heart, as if he was happy because of Xiaoyan's words. Fire Heart Tianyan, Ghost Face and Soul Flame, Empty Ice Flame, 3 flames gathering, destroy the devils. Xiaoyan stepped into the air, and the 3 holy flames of each color emerged directly, and then they slowly merged under Xiaoyan's control. Xiaoyan's voice was like thunder, echoing in King Xuanling's mind. How can it be? How can it be? Yanqi, Medusa. The Xuanling King saw Xiaoyan's arrogant aura, and immediately knew that if he didn't take defensive measures, he would probably fall into Xiaoyan's hands completely. The fusion of the previous 2 holy flames, the lotus of life and death, is enough to seriously injure yourself. If the 3 holy flames are fused, there is no way out for you. Only fall. You've done a lot of evil, just fall like this. It's better that Zan Santian is quiet. Yu Ru, who was on the side, looked at King Zanling and said, Oh, I can't just fall like this. I haven't unified Zan 3 days, and I haven't swallowed the holy flame. I can't just die like this. Soul Ball. At this time, the Xuanling King seemed to be resurrected because of Xiaoyan's death, and he became like a lunatic. The silver soul ball just appeared, and suddenly, a powerful force continuously communicated with the soul ball on the Xuanling King. And the next moment, the 10 Do Xian trapped by the Blood River Bell, as well as the many powerhouses who were stopped by Long Yi Xiaoyi, broke through the siege one after another, and under King Xuanling's urging of the soul ball, they faced the front of King Xuanling. Gather away. Ha ha ha. Xiaoyan, come on if you can. I use all the Xuantian powerhouses as a human wall. If you attack, then you are the sinner of the master. Ha ha ha. King Xuanling gathered all the powerhouses under his control directly in front of him, forming a natural human wall, trying to dispel Xiaoyan's idea of integrating the 3 holy flames. Today, no matter what you do, you can't escape the fate of falling. Senior Soul Eater, trouble you. Xiaoyan was still fusing the 3 holy flames on his own, and then said to the Soul Eater Lord behind him. However, I don't know why, this time, it was easier for Yu to read link to www.yukanshu.com after integrating with the holy flame. It was not as unfamiliar as the first time, but Xiaoyan didn't know that all of this was due to Mu Yingying's reshaping of her heart. The Soul Eater heard the words. Without any delay, the direct figure disappeared like a ghost, and the next moment appeared in front of the Xuanling King. Your strength, how is it possible? When the air mass of the Master Soul Eater appeared in front of the Xuanling King only felt a powerful force, and he couldn't breathe. Bring it, the Lord of Soul Eater said with killing intent, cold and heartless. If the Lord of Soul Eater is ready to make a move, with him at this time, he can easily wipe out the entire Xuantian Santian. However, because of the preservation of strength, there was such a thing as the sacrifice of Mu Yingying, which really made the Lord of Soul Eater. Unexpectedly, I am not prepared to have reservations now. Crash! As soon as the Lord of Soul Eater's voice fell, the silver soul ball in the hands of the Xuanling King was swallowed directly by the Lord of Soul Eater. Bastard! King Xuanling couldn't help roaring as he watched his last means of saving his life being taken away. Even if you stole the soul ball, you have no way to control them. My soul power has reached the Emperor realm. Unless the soul power among you is stronger than mine, and the soul power in the soul ball is erased, it is useless to steal it. Ha ha ha, just wait to die. And as King Xuanling's voice fell, a feeling of being cut off from his soul force came from the depths of King Xuanling's soul. How could it be? Heavenly great perfection. At this moment, the pupils of King Xuanling truly became fearful. Not only because the connection of the soul ball was completely cut off, but also because of the fusion of Xiaoyan's 3 holy flames in the sky.